you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had installed.
10 chilling stories of being buried alive. Number 10, Mr. Cornish. He was the mayor of Bath, England when he died of a fever. While he was being buried, the undertaker stopped for a few minutes to chat with friends. The group suddenly heard moans coming from Mr. Cornish's coffin, but when they recovered him, he was already dead. Apparently, Mr. Cornish's sister was so scarred by the ordeal that she asked to be beheaded before her burial. Number 9, Stephen Small. The heir to a media empire, Stephen was kidnapped in 1987. His kidnappers buried him and intended to keep him alive with breathing tubes until they got a ransom. Their plan failed, however, and Stephen died underground. Number 8, Good Luck Burial. Unfortunately, this good luck burial wasn't so lucky. But how on earth is a burial lucky in the first place? Well, apparently in Russia, people have been burying themselves lately, claiming that it brings good fortune. One man in the eastern city of Blagoveshchensk had his friend bury him in a coffin with a straw that he could breathe through. The next day, however, his friend came back to find him dead. Apparently it had rained the night before and the man had drowned. Number 7, Simon Magus. Also known as Simon the Sorcerer, he is recorded as having met Peter in the Acts of the Apostles. There are some later accounts of his life that describe how he wanted to be buried alive. Unfortunately, Simon wasn't the Christ, and his body remained in the ground. Number 6, James Wrigley. A wealthy New Yorker, James took out several life insurance policies before his death. This raised some suspicion, and he was dug up for an autopsy. Investigators determined that he had been buried alive. We still don't know why he took out the life insurance policies, however. Number 5, A Lucky Unlucky Girl. In August 2014, a young Indian girl's parents asked some friends to take her to a neighboring village. On the way, they buried the girl, but luckily, some locals were watching. She was rescued and identified her would-be murderers. Number 4, Oran. Oran was one of St. Columba's monks on the island of Iona during the 6th century. According to legend, he was dug up the day after his burial to be found alive. When he started talking about how he had seen heaven and hell, he was allegedly branded a heretic and reburied. Number 3, Chakra Khalili. Coming from a wealthy Indian family, it caused an uproar when Chakra went missing in 1991. 3 years later, her remains were found in her own home. Apparently her second husband had drugged her and buried her between 2 mattresses. Number 2, Julia Lagari. After she came down with diphtheria in early 1800s, young Julia's body was buried in a local mausoleum to deter the spread of the disease. Following the Civil War, the mausoleum was opened in order to bury fallen soldiers. Tragically, a tiny skeleton was discovered right behind the mausoleum door. Julia had been buried alive. Number 1, The Unknown. Prior to the rise of modern medicine, determining death was a source of fiery debate. In fact, creating emergency coffins was a booming business at one point. It stands to reason that thousands of people throughout history have been buried alive and the living were none the wiser.
But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had installed.